Hello and welcome to an India Today special broadcast that comes to you from the Kargil War Memorial in Dras. I'm Gaurav Sawant. On the eve of Kargil Vijay Divas, the Chief of Defence Staff, the Chief of the Army Staff, several top generals of the Indian Army and families of the braves who made the supreme sacrifice of their lives fighting the Kargil War in 1999, they lit a lamp here at the Kargil War Memorial. 545 lamps have been lit here. Another 397 lamps have been lit at the flank. And those lamps are of the braves who made the supreme sacrifice of their lives in operations other than Operation Vijay in Kargil right from 1947. This is not just the Indian Armed Forces, but the nation that's paying its respects to the braves who gave their all for the nation. They gave up their today for our tomorrow. Even now as we speak, the braves, their families, their loved ones, soldiers who fought in the Kargil war and those who are defending the borders today are here to pay their respects to the Kargil braves.
Stories of sacrifice and triumph. Commemorating the valor of Kargil heroes. Courage undaunted. 25 years of Kargil's indomitable spirit. Saluting India's Kargil braves. India Today reports from Kargil. Top focus on India first.
Traditions mean a lot in the Indian Armed Forces. So do customs, and so do some unique aspects of celebrating victory. So as the nation gears up to celebrate 25 years of India's victory over Pakistan in Kargil, Chief of the Army Staff then was General Ved Malik. He's here on the 25th anniversary. But what makes celebrations here more unique is the fact that his son is commanding the 8th Mountain Div. Now, why is this different? In the army, this is something that's celebrated. General Ved Malik, incidentally, had commanded the 8th Mountain Div. He'd also moved the 8th Mountain Div first from the northeast to Jammu and Kashmir, and then as chief ordered the movement of the 8th Div here in the Kargil war zone in 1999. And this is a division, the 8th Mountain Division, that's set to be forever in operations. I caught up with General Ved Malik and his son, Major General Sachin Malik, who's currently commanding the 8th Mountain Div. I bring you this India Today exclusive. आज से 25 साल पहले इसी जगह कारगिल में भारत ने पाकिस्तान को शिकस्त दी थी, करारी शिकस्त दी थी, और उस समय भारतीय थल सेना के अध्यक्ष जनरल वेद प्रकाश मलिक थे जब पाकिस्तान को भारत ने हराया था। 25 वर्ष बाद वो कारगिल फिर लौटे हैं और इस समय विधि का विधान देखिए, कारगिल की वही 8th माउंटेन डिवीजन द्रास में इस समय कमांड कर रहे हैं उनके सुपुत्र मेजर जनरल सचिन मलिक। और आप ये देखिए कितना जबरदस्त कोइंसिडेंस है। और जनरल साहब, आपने कारगिल में जब आर्मी को लीड किया, वो विक्ट्री जो भारत को मिली 25 साल बाद, आपके क्या विचार हैं जब आपका बेटा ये डिवीजन कमांड कर रहा है?
पहली बात तो मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ कि जो उस विक्ट्री का जो श्रेय है वो मुझे नहीं जाता, बल्कि उन जवानों को और उन अफसरों को जाता है जो उन्होंने लड़ाई की यहाँ पर और जिस तरीके से उन्होंने लड़ाई ली। और आई हैपन टू बी द चीफ ऑफ आर्मी स्टाफ। और मुझे बहुत गर्व है कि इस वक्त मेरा बेटा वही डिवीज़न कमांड कर रहा है जिसको मैंने कमांड किया था। और वो भी इस वक्त जब हम कारगिल विजय दिवस की सिल्वर जुबली मना रहे हैं।
तो उससे ही आपके लिए और एक्स्ट्रा स्पेशल बन जाता है।
बिल्कुल।
फौज में जनरल साहब, और देखे ना, जनरल मलिक मेरे इस तरफ और जनरल मलिक मेरे इस तरफ, फौज में कहा जाता है कि वर्दी की इज्जत बहुत बड़ी चीज होती है, वर्दी की इज्जत, देश की इज्जत। आपके लिए चुनौती एक और है, जो पिता की लेगेसी है उसे आपको आगे बढ़ाना है।
नहीं, उसको बढ़ाना है, पर लेकिन यहाँ पे जो काम है वो काम तो मेरा वही रहता है। 8 माउंटेन डिवीजन का जो काम है, एलओसी के ऊपर सुरक्षा करनी है और डिवीजन को तैयार रखना है किसी भी हालात के लिए।
क्योंकि आपकी डिवीजन तो फॉरएवर एंड ऑप्स है।
8 माउंटेन डिव को शुरू से 8 माउंटेन डिव को बोला जाता है फॉरएवर इन ऑपरेशंस। नागालैंड में, कश्मीर में और अभी कारगिल के क्षेत्र में हमारी डिवीजन हर समय ऑपरेशंस में रही है।
I also caught up with then Flight Lieutenant K. Nachiketa, a MiG-27 fighter pilot. He retired as a group captain in the Indian Air Force, but his story is unique. When the Kargil war started, his MiG-27, there was an engine flame out in Batalik. As he bailed out, he was caught by the Pakistanis. He was made a prisoner of war. He was taken first to Skardu and then to Islamabad on a Pakistan military C-130 aircraft, and he was tortured by Pakistan's ISI. He opens up about that ordeal and how it made him a stronger man with a firm resolve to fight to win. फ्लाइट लेफ्टिनेंट नचिकेता MiG-27 फाइटर जेट उड़ा रहे थे जब ऑपरेशन विजय शुरू ही हुआ था। यानी 26 मई को ऑपरेशन विजय या ऑपरेशन सफेद सागर शुरू हुआ था, 27 मई को आप बटालिक में उड़ा रहे थे और आपका MiG-27 फ्लेम आउट कर गया था। आज तक के दर्शकों को बताइए वो क्या परिस्थिति थी कि उस एक्सट्रीम हाई ऑल्टीट्यूड में आपका फाइटर जेट फ्लेम आउट कर जाता है।
हम जब फायरिंग करते हैं तो हमारा MiG-27 का स्पीड होता है 900 किलोमीटर के आसपास। उस स्पीड पे हम जब रॉकेट्स फायर करते हैं तो जो पूरा का जो प्रोग्राम होता है स्टार्टिंग से लेकर एंड तक, वो 1 मिनट में सब खत्म हो जाता है। हमारा एक अटैक पैटर्न है डाइव पैटर्न। डाइव मतलब हम लोग जहाज को अटैक के टारगेट के ऊपर डाइव करते हैं, डाइव करते हुए 900 की स्पीड से जाते हैं, रॉकेट्स फायर करते हैं, उसको नीचे से जहाज को घुमा के फिर वापस ले आते हैं। तो मेरा जो डाइव का मिशन था, हमारा एक टारगेट था मुंतोदालो में। वहां पे मैं और मेरे लीडर स्कॉलर मैंडोकोट, हम दोनों गए थे, हाइना फॉर्मेशन में थे। तो जब रॉकेट का फायरिंग खत्म हो गया था, वापस आ रहे थे, तो जहाज ऊपर चढ़ रहा था। उस समय हमारे पास एक ही इंजन होता है, आजकल के जहाजों में 2-2 इंजन होते हैं। तो इंजन फ्लेम आउट हो गया था। और जब इंजन फ्लेम आउट होता है तो उसको एक स्टार्ट करने का प्रोसेस होता है। मैंने वो स्टार्ट किया था प्रोसेस, लेकिन सिंस हमारा पूरा ऑल्टीट्यूड है, इफ यू कैन सी, ऑलमोस्ट 12, 13, 14, 15,000 फीट पे है, तो मेरे पास जो अवेलेबल था ऑल्टीट्यूड टू स्टार्ट द इंजन बहुत कम था, एंड मैं पूरा नहीं कर पाया। 85-86% तक आरपीएम पहुंचा, एंड तब मैंने देखा कि पहाड़ बहुत जल्दी से मेरे पास आ रहा था, एंड आई टुक अ कॉल कि इजेक्शन करना है, वरना मैं जहाज के साथ शायद पहाड़ में घुस जाऊंगा। एंड मैंने इन्फॉर्म किया अपने लीडर को कि मैंडो इम इजेक्टिंग, एंड मैं जहाज से बाहर आ गया।
For many in our country, this place, the Kargil War Memorial at Dras, is a place of pilgrimage. This is not a tourist spot. They actually come here and pay their respects to the fallen gods, to the fallen braves. Because it is said, how can man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods? And I caught up with the families of some of the braves of the Kargil war. For them, this truly is a place of pilgrimage that they return to again and again to feel close to the fallen braves. You decided that, one, you will become a doctor, and two, you will bring out the valor of our braves.
Yeah, the first, my becoming a doctor was more or less something that I thought that my father always wanted, because I grew up hearing from him and being told, how much he looked forward to me being a doctor. And since he was so involved in my studies, I don't think I gave anything else another thought after we lost him. But after I grew up, writing always was a great area of interest for me, because it also helped me kind of keep my connection with him, because I used to maintain a diary that I used to write to him. I used to write a Dear Daddy diary. The ambition really is to be able to tell all these stories of the brave hearts that a lot of there are two things. One is that not everybody is able to tell their own story, and the other thing is even telling a story to someone else, everyone may not be very comfortable with placing that kind of faith. So as people who have say whether you want to call it an interest or some kind of expertise in writing, I think like as Bravehearts families and people who understand that pain, if we won't, who would?
Actually, and when we talk about that pain, you'd written an article, Deeksha, about your father and his supreme sacrifice here in Kargil, and it pained you, but it pained you in more ways than one.
Yeah, so the first time I wrote about my father was in 2015, which was 16 years after we had lost him. And I always say, everyone asks me that, how difficult was it and I always say that, I think the sense of pride had taken over the sense of loss by then, that I could write that article. That was the first time that I went and I, did a research and I spoke with his fellow soldiers to ask, what happened to Daddy? We only hear stories. We had never figured out how did it happen really, right? And so spend time there. But I think that story of him led me to my first book called Letters from Kargil, and that is when I found out that it's so difficult to reach people. Soldiers' families, soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice, to reach them and get their letters and journal entries because they didn't preserve it. And I think that was the moment when I realized it's so important for us to take that initiative and go to those families, wherever they may be, to tell their stories, because they will put their faith in us, because I think it's a community of people who have given who have given their loved ones for this motherland.
What did you feel when you saw that land?
After coming to this program, for the first time, I'm seeing the hills all around me, the place where the Kargil war has taken place and where my brother had laid the supreme sacrifice. I'm so overwhelmed that to protect the motherland, they have given up their lives, and because of which today we are celebrating the 25th anniversary of Kargil Vijay Diwas Day. I'm very honored.
ये बताइए, नागालैंड का वो लड़का द्रास में आके लड़ा, परिवार को उस समय क्या मालूम था, क्या जानकारी थी? आपका तो शायद जन्म नहीं हुआ होगा या बहुत ही छोटी रही होगी.
Yes. I was in the 4th standard when the Kargil war happened and my brother died. So he came just before the war started. He came for a brief holiday. So he came and he spent time with the family, and he did whatever he could to have the best time with the family. So we were not aware then that he will be coming back and fighting this war, and he might not return. So we were not aware, and that is how we had spent the happy last time together. And after that, through his letters, we got to know that there was very little hope of him, and he had not planned to return back to the family.
We all know Captain Vikram Batra as that brave who captured point 5140 and his famous line, "Ye dil mange more." We also know him as the man who led that reserve company assault into point 4875, recapturing that post from the enemy as the Pakistanis mounted a swift counter-attack. But for his younger brother, or his twin brother, Vishal Batra, this place is pilgrimage, not just the war memorial, but the point where Vikram Batra fought at 5140. And the 25th year of India's victory over Pakistan and the 50th year of Vikram Batra's birth, Vishal Batra walked to point 5140. I spoke to him to ask him why he did this. Listen in. What made you climb? Vishal, first, welcome on India Today.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you so much.
What made you climb point 5140? And it's a very, very high peak there, very difficult to climb.
So Gaurav, to be honest, me and Vikram both would be turning 50 this year. Wow. Right, which is on 9th of September. Though Vikram is going to be 25-year-old only because we lost him when he was 25.
Eternally
I have a lot of grey hair. So I had a dream of visiting both the peaks, the 5140 and the 4875. And 5140 was a dream because I wanted to pay a tribute on the 50th birth anniversary. While we lost him 25 years back, but for me,
he personally continues to live on, right? And that's the reason I chose and I requested the Indian Army that I want to do an expedition to 514. I want to do on the foot. And fortunately, this year, 18th of July was the day when I actually took a plunge, and thanks to the present Chief General Dwivedi, to whom I had placed a request in the month of November. Thanks to the GOC 8th Mountain Division General Malik, who helped me organizing this. And then, of course, Brigadier Sanjeev Kohli, the Artillery Brigade Commander, through whose, along with his entire brigade, I got this chance to climb this on 18th of July.
Kargil was victory against all odds in the line of fire. I caught up with Brigadier Kushal Thakur, who incidentally in 1999 was commanding one of the first battalions that were inducted into this battle zone in May 1999, the 18 Grenadiers. Now they were launched both at Tololing and ultimately at Tiger Hill. What was the situation like when they were inducted from counter-terror operations in the valley to fighting Pakistani army here, and told that there were just a handful of mujahideens or terrorists on peaks? Listen in to Brigadier Kushal Thakur talking about the initial days of the battle, from surprise at Tololing to victory at Tiger Hill. Sir, 25 years after the war, I want to take you back to the time when you were inducted. When were you the exact date of your induction here in the Dras battle zone?
Yeah, we came here on 17th of May. We were fighting militancy in Valley, and suddenly we got the orders to move to Daras, and 17 we reached here.
And what were you told? What were you to battle here?
Initially, I was summoned to the brigade headquarters, 121 brigade, and I was told from the outside that look, this is the Tololing, and few mujahideens are there, about 5 to 6 of them, and you have to get hold of them. But once we started the operation on 21st and 22nd night, and it took almost 24 days for us, because it was not 5 to 6 militants, it was almost a company plus.
So on Tololing, and Tololing is at an altitude of 16,000 feet, if I remember correctly, 16,000 feet, and the Pakistanis were very well entrenched, not just at Tololing, but the 3 features around Tololing, giving them support fire.
If you see the Tololing, it has Tololing 0.4590, adjacent to it is Hamp, and then is 0.5140, where 13 Jackrif went later on. So it was a huge complex, and the enemy was trenched, and hats off to the men that despite numerous challenges of weather, terrain, operational and logistic support, they still moved ahead and captured initially the Tololing.
How can man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods? This is where the braves are paying their respects to 545 Indian Armed Forces personnel who made the supreme sacrifice of their lives in the Kargil conflict of 1999. But it's a nation that owes a debt to these braves and their families. India has changed. From Kargil, when a decision was taken that air power will not be used to hit targets across the line of control, to Balakot, when Indian Air Force fighter jets not only crossed the line of control but hit terror targets across the international border in Pakistan's Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. I leave you with these images of a grateful nation paying respects to our braves.